So ever since switching to Fuji, I've loved the compact size of the camera and the affordability of a lot of the cameras. And the main reason I switched from my different camera systems was actually because of the lens options, specifically the third-party lens options that are very compact, affordable, and pretty fast apertures. So basically, I just want to go through all the cheap, compact, budget lenses that I have and that have become super useful to me, so maybe they could be of use to you as well. First up is the one I have on my camera right now, and that is the Rokinon AF 12mm f2 wide-angle lens. Now, this lens isn't a pancake lens by any means, but it's very compact. And I'd say this is what's on my camera most of the time. A lot of times when I go out and I'm just bringing my camera with me, just taking memories of friends or photos, you know, going on vacation, going out to restaurants, stuff like that. This is what lives on my camera. It's very fast for a wide-angle lens, and f2, that's pretty nice. Plus the 12mm range on it just makes it super easy to get everything in frame. You know, it doesn't matter how crowded a place is or how up close people are. And like I said, it's pretty small, so I can just strap it to my side and I can pretty much go with this setup anywhere. I've really grown fond of the wide angle look, so I'm super glad I was able to find a cheap, compact camera lens that's pretty fast and still gives you some solid depth of field and low light capabilities. As far as budget goes, this lens is about $380, so not bad for a nice, compact, fast, wide-angle lens. And I think the 12mm range is the sweet spot where anytime I'd really want a wide-angle shot, it's going to be the 12mm. It works without being too wide and distorted, but also, you know, giving you that wide-angle look when you might have some more mid-range lenses in your kit. And one of my favorite lenses here, which also happens to be the cheapest, is the TTARTISAN all-manual 25mm f2. Again, another f2 lens, which is super nice, gives you low light capability, shallow depth of field. And as I said before, everything's manual, it keeps the price down, but man, everything feels good. I mean, this is not a cheap plastic lens. Everything is metal and glass. The aperture ring is super solid and clicky. It's not gonna fall out of place. The focusing feels really nice. It's super smooth. And yeah, look how tiny this is. I mean, if you're trying to fit your little camera rig into a pocket or something like that, a small bag, this is your guy. And yeah, like I said, this is just a super solid lens. It actually has a lot of character to it as well. Like some of the bokeh looks pretty cool. I can't really put my finger on why, but for a cheap lens that goes for like 65 bucks, 65 bucks for a 25mm f2 manual lens. Looks great, super compact. Highly recommend this lens. I mean, I'd take it with me everywhere just because it'll fit in whatever bag I'm bringing, so super nice. I also brought this skiing with me just for the fact that it was compact, and also because it's $65, if it gets wrecked, like, it's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, highly recommend this lens. TTARTISAN's, great work. The next lens I have right here is probably the lens that has my favorite image out of all the other lenses, and if I'm making something that I really want to look good, it's probably using this lens. And this is the Suri Sniper 23mm f1.2. Now, immediately having an f1.2 on an APS-C size camera is awesome. You get great low light performance, you get that shallow depth of field, and at this 23mm focal range, I actually think it kind of gives that like full frame aesthetic, or that IMAX aesthetic, if that's what you're going for. Super solid built lens. You know, it's not the most compact in my kit, but for what it delivers, it's still very small. Has solid AF, it has a USB-C port right here for firmware updates. You don't need to buy a separate dock or anything like that. And yeah, this lens has just given me my most beautiful images I've gotten. Super versatile. I think the 23mm focal length just kind of works for most situations. I think it's really great. And yeah, that f1.2 is just super creamy. The biggest thing I don't like about it is the focus ring. It's, you know, an electronic focus ring, which is like, eh. And in your camera settings, you could change like the sensitivity of the focusing and stuff like that, which I've tried to do, but I still can't get it to act the way I want to. So usually when I'm manual focusing with this lens, I just put the camera in manual focus, hit the AF button, lock my focus, and then move from there, just because using this ring annoys me. Nothing like the manual stuff. I mean, this thing is a pleasure to focus with, but yeah. Other than that though, this lens is definitely the lens I'm reaching for in most scenarios when I'm looking for that cinematic, creamy look. And let me tell you, it works. This lens goes for about 500, I think. Damn. It's on Amazon right now for like 280 bucks, which is way less than what I paid for it. So, I mean, honestly, yeah, snatch this up if you can. Wow. Is that real? Anyway, amazing lens, f1.2, 23 millimeters, interesting character. I mean, if it's that cheap, I say, yeah, get it now if you can, because I love this lens. Moving on, we have another TTARTISAN's lens. This one is autofocus, which is nice. This is a 35 millimeter f1.8, and this is probably my least used lens. Usually I'm just opting for the Siri sniper lens in these scenarios, but if I need that little bit of extra reach, it's a 35 millimeter 1.8, and I really just got it because of its compact size. I also adapt my Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8 camera to my Fuji lenses, and that's a giant rig, so I kind of just got this as a little compact thing if I don't want to bring that whole adapter and lens situation and I need to reach 35 millimeter focal length at, you know, a fast aperture. TTARTISAN's 35 1.8. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, I feel like I get a lot of flaring with this, which some people are into, some people are not. Just want to put that out there, but this lens was pretty cheap too, I think. God, I should remember this stuff. About 150 bucks if you don't get it on sale. So, pretty cheap lens, 35 millimeter f1.8, good low light, good focal range, compact, pretty solid. Next up is this guy right here. This is the lens you've probably heard about before if you're into photography and videography. This is the Helios 44-2 lens. So it's an f2. I think it's about 55 millimeters, and it's a vintage lens. So you get that vintage look, but it also has a super cool character to the bokeh where it kind of swirls in the background. Super neat effect. You have to get an adapter because it's not natively for Fuji mounts. So got a Fuji adapter, just screw it in, and yeah, completely manual focus and aperture controls, but it feels good. And I think you can get these lenses for like 50 bucks if you find them on eBay or something. I don't know why there's so many of them and they're so cheap, because I mean, it makes a super cool look. And yeah, you can just toss this on your camera, full manual, and get some creamy vintage buttery footage. And also the 55 millimeter range is also nice if you need that extra reach. So that's actually all the Fuji lenses that I have, and they all work really great for me. All the different f-stops and focal ranges and the super compact size and budget nature of the lenses have all really worked great for me. I haven't really needed anything else, but I do want to give some honorable mentions. This is a macro extension tube set. These are really cheap. I think I got them for like 25 bucks or something off Amazon. And basically it's just Fuji X mount to Fuji X mount, but it extends the flange distance by 16 millimeters and 10 millimeters. So basically you could stack these, or you could just use one at a time. And this converts whatever lens you have into a macro lens, so you can get super close up to objects for cheap with the lenses you already have. So no need to buy a macro lens. Just slap a couple of these cheap guys on your camera and the lens you already have, and you're golden. And as I said earlier, I do adapt some of my old EF glass to the Fuji system when I need it. So I wanted to give an honorable mention to the K&F Concept EF to Fuji X adapter. Fully electronic adapter, you know, can change the aperture. Autofocus works great for me. I think it was about like 200 bucks when I bought it, so not bad for a high quality, fully electronic adapter. And most of the time when I'm using it with my Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8, which I'm using to film right now. And it's a super bulky setup, but honestly, you can probably get the Sigma 18 to 35 lens for pretty cheap used nowadays, and it is still a rock star of a lens. I mean, I think the image looks great. The f1.8 aperture is super handy in low light. It's a constant aperture, so when you're zooming, the exposure doesn't change And yeah, 18 to 35 is just a super, super versatile focal range. I mean, pretty much anytime I'm filming like an event or run and gun short film that needs to move fast or something like that, where I can't be changing lenses all the time, Sigma 18 and 35 just, it comes in so clutch. This lens is awesome. It's giant, but it's awesome. And then the only other EF lens I have is this 75 to 300 telephoto lens. And this lens kind of sucks. I mean, it's autofocus, it's made of like plastic. There's no image stabilization built into the lens, so good luck using this handheld or even on a tripod on a windy day. Your footage will be shaky, but it's super cheap. I think I got it for like 65 bucks or something like that. You could maybe get it less used these days. And it's the only telephoto lens I have. It's the only lens I have in the 75 to 300 millimeter focal range, which I don't use that often, but I would like to get into more. And yeah, it's the one that I have and it's cheap. So until I upgrade to maybe a Fuji option, this is the one I'm working with, and it's super cheap in a pinch if you need a telephoto shot, obviously with an adapter to the Fuji camera. But yeah, that's what I got. Outside of this, there's not really much else I'd need for the camera. Maybe a telephoto lens, that would be really great. And then I've seen really great things about the Sigma 18 to 50, I think it is, 2.8. Very compact lens with a super wide range of zooming. So maybe in the future I'll get those, but right now just seems not that necessary. And I'm a really big fan of working with all these very small, compact, cheap, but fast options. So let me know if this was useful. If you have any recommendations for cheap budget compact Fuji lenses for other people in the comments or for myself, let me know. But this is what I've been using that's within my budget and within the size requirements that I want and can still give me the images I'm looking for. So thanks. Hopefully this helped. Bye.